RJ Barrett has revealed the shocking truth behind getting traded off the New York Knicks and how that felt. And also, Tom Thibodeau has decided to make a major rotation decision as he has fully benched Jericho Sims, who's out of the rotation now, as Precious Achiuwa is back with the New York Knicks from his hamstring injury, and we're going to break this all down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and if you're liking the content, make sure to subscribe. 25% of viewers are subscribed. Let's get those numbers up. We're under 600 subscribers away from 10,000. Let's try to get there before the new year, but let's talk about basketball. RJ Barrett revealed the truth behind getting traded off of the New York Knicks as he spoke out recently on the trade, discussing how that felt to be traded, what kind of happened in the days leading up and just the season leading up to the trade. And it's definitely something that I did not expect to see from RJ Barrett. Now, Barrett clearly has no animosity towards the New York Knicks and liked his time with the Knicks, but revealed something that I think surprised a lot of us Knicks fans. Now, Barrett, who spoke on the trade, said that he was not too surprised that he got traded, saying, I kind of knew I was going to get traded last year. You can kind of tell when you're treated a certain way. Lots of stuff gave me that vibe. Lots of stuff. I think I just got a vibe. I kind of figured I wasn't really too surprised when it happened. Now, Barrett got traded to the Toronto Raptors, and you have to imagine a guy being from Toronto, growing up a Raptors fan and also sort of a Knicks fan because his connection to New York and spending time here as a kid. These were his two teams. It's pretty insane that this guy got drafted by the Knicks, the team that he probably wanted to go to more than any other team outside of the Toronto Raptors. And then where do the Knicks trade him? The Toronto Raptors. The New York Knicks did right by RJ Barrett by sending him home, and Barrett has been very, very good for the Raptors. Now, Barrett spoke a lot on this, and he was excited to get traded to the New York Knicks, and that's what we've heard. We've heard this from multiple people, as Emmanuel quickly even said, when I got to see him in the hallway after we got traded, essentially, as they were traded together, he was excited. He was jumping around and stuff. He was excited to go back home. It was real. Now, Emmanuel quickly, obviously part of that trade also. It was a wild, wild moment. This was almost a year ago now, as RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly got traded on New Year's Eve from the New York Knicks to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, and Malachi Flynn. Now, Flynn was on the Knicks for all of 5 minutes before the Knicks flipped him in that trade just a month later to bring in Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic, where they also traded away Evan Fournier and Quentin Grimes. The New York Knicks have gone out there and made a lot of moves under the Leon Rose era, and basically everyone who didn't get drafted by Leon Rose got traded, and even someone who did, like Quentin Grimes, who clearly just fell out of Tom Thibodeau's favor, and the Knicks decided to move on from him. Now, Grimes is also doing well in Dallas now, so he got traded again, and shout out to Quentin Grimes for that. It's hard to not love these young Knicks who at one point looked like the future of this team, and now RJ Barrett's starting to play like the player who we all kind of hoped he would turn into with the Knicks. I think a lot of Knicks fans still root for RJ and IQ. There's no reason not to. I mean, these guys did everything right with the New York Knicks. They helped the Knicks build up this team. They were integral parts of playoff Knicks teams. The NBA is a business, as everyone knows, and that's what led to these trades. Now, also, Barrett did talk about playing on the Raptors and how it's a better fit for him than the Knicks, saying, I think that those guys were so good, meaning the Knicks, that we didn't need the cuts and stuff, as RJ spoke about loving to cut to the hoop. They were going to put the ball in the basket. In basketball, sometimes better offense wins, and it clearly worked. It's effective. I was able to do my thing in New York. It's just here in Toronto, I'm more efficient. The brand of basketball is different. I think it fits my style a little more. The team that we have, we're young. We run. I cut more here because I know I have a chance to get the ball. And even when I don't get it, I'm not upset about it because I know I'm getting it on the next one. If you cut all the time and you never get the ball, you're probably not going to want to cut. Now, this is interesting. RJ Barrett spent a lot of time in the corner with the New York Knicks. A lot of time in that corner. And that's what's going to happen when you have Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, players who are both similar to RJ Barrett. They want to drive to their left side. They both like cutting to the hoop if they're off the ball. They both like spotting up if they're off the ball. And clearly having RJ and Randle became very redundant. That was evident really within the first year. And the two spent a lot of time together, became very close. Randle was a mentor to RJ. And RJ even said that Julius Randle became like his older brother. And the two were very close. And now I don't think RJ has animosity towards the Knicks. I think he's I don't think he's shading them by saying, oh, I wasn't getting the ball. He literally started it with, they were so good. Like, he happened to be on a team that had an all-star in Randall who played basically identically to, or not identically, but very, very similarly to RJ Barrett. And on top of that, you had Jalen Brunson, who then became dominant with the ball and has blossomed into an NBA superstar, to where RJ just didn't fit on the team anymore. Like, it's a shame because I love RJ Barrett and I didn't want to ever see him get traded. He just didn't fit with this New York Knicks team, so the Knicks traded him for someone who did, and everyone won in the end. Specifically RJ Barrett, who this season's averaging 23.5 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, and 6 assists. I mean, the man looks like an all-star. He's shooting 35% from three, which is very solid for him, a guy who likes to score the ball inside, while also shooting 46% from the field. He's shooting 48% on corner threes, and only shooting 31% of his shots behind the arc because he is doing his best work inside the arc. He's still just 24 years old. He's young. He has time to break out and become the perennial all-star we all thought RJ Barrett could be. So it's awesome seeing RJ Barrett go out there and just have success with the New York Knicks. The man deserves it. RJ Barrett has been through a lot, especially with the passing of his brother, and now we're seeing him in Toronto, where Josh Hart said he's playing like an all-star, which is very hard to argue. Now, he also leads the 2019 draft in points scored. He's up there with rebounds and assists. RJ has panned out well in this draft, especially considering Zion Williamson's legs don't work. Ja Morant has become sort of injury prone and also just can't stop making mistakes in life. And then there's the third overall pick. RJ Barrett stayed consistently on the court, doing his thing, and you got to be happy for RJ, who against the Knicks put up 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists at home in Toronto. I truly do wish the best for RJ Barrett. He seems like a great dude, and again, this last year has not been easy on him. So I really am happy for RJ Barrett's success. I hope he gets an all-star vote this year. I'll certainly be voting for RJ Barrett to get into the all-star game, and all Knicks fans should also. The man deserves to be recognized for all he's done. But there's also other stuff to talk about today. Jericho Sims was benched by Tom Thibodeau as Tom Thibodeau made the decision to move forwards with Precious Achiuwa over Jericho Sims, which is not the most shocking decision. We've seen that Tibbs favors Achiuwa over Sims in the past, and that has continued as now Precious Achiuwa has taken Sims' spot, while Tibbs, for some reason, continues to run a 8-man rotation, which is death. It's just deadly. It's going to lead to an injury, probably to McHale, who's playing over 40 minutes every night. Thibodeau is going to burn these guys out. This is a terrible mistake by Tom Thibodeau. He should be playing a 9th man. It's really, really annoying, especially because it's not like the Knicks are winning every game to where you're like, oh, don't change it. Like, they're not. They're winning a lot because they're good. They're the 4th seed in the East because they're good. They're going to be better in the playoffs when you can run an 8-man rotation, but knock it off, Tibbs. Play somebody, please, anyone. Just put someone in the game. Like, this 8-man rotation is so annoying. It really is. And when someone gets hurt and is out for the season, people are going to turn on Tibbs real fast. And benching Jericho Sims, I understand. Sims has not played great. He's struggled mightily. But still, I mean, this is such a quick turnaround from the guy starting on Saturday night to now being benched. As Stephen Bondi put it, Monday was the first game the Knicks had a full roster minus only Mitchell Robinson, who is out until at least January while recovering from the second ankle surgery. And Jericho Sims has been a defensive force in the paint for parts of this season and was elevated to the starting lineup Saturday against the Detroit Pistons because Karl Anthony Towns was injured. But Sims was also pulled very early from the previous 2 games, combining for just 10 minutes while also appearing lost on offense. Then Thibodeau made a decision to keep Jericho Sims on the bench. Now, look, it does make some sense why Jericho Sims is being benched. Tibbs is not liking the production of Sims. The man looks lost on offense. Dariel's pointed it out that Jericho Sims looks nervous. He keeps looking to the bench like he's making mistakes. He's clearly very nervous out there because he knows how quickly he could lose his starting spot and then lose his job in the NBA. So it's understandably getting to him, but you can't play like that, and if you're going to, then play Ariel Hukporti. I know you don't want to because you want to keep his value lower so you could sign him to a bargain contract. I get that it helps for salary reasons, but what's more important is that the Knicks stay healthy when they're contending this season. You have a 4-year window to contend. Let's not burn a year because we're playing 8 guys and then we burn them out, and then the playoffs, they're exhausted. Let's not do that, Tibbs. There's no purpose of doing that. If you're not going to play Hukporti, play Pacome Dadier. He's on a 4-year contract. Just play someone. Pacome, Kolek, Hukporty, all through in the G League just to get some minutes, which is great. They get to practice with both teams, which is great, but it's just not sustainable what Tom Thibodeau is doing, and I understand Sims has been disappointing, and he hasn't really developed at all, but still, this is not going to work. As mentioned by Ben Ritholtz, through 20 games, Jericho Sims is allowing a 33% field goal percentage at the rim. Nobody else in the league was below 40, so Sims was helpful on the defensive end. If you really can't play him on offense, put someone else in the game. Do not run this shortened rotation. It's not good. It's not going to work in the long run. Now, Sims this season, yeah, the numbers have been underwhelming, putting up 1.8 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, and 0.7 assists. He's shooting 70% from the field, but he never really even shoots the ball. And it's just this situation of, yeah, I get it. I get it's tough to play this guy, but you got to play someone. You got to play a 9-man rotation at least. It's the regular season. Let's not do an 8-man rotation. That's going to lead to too many minutes. It's going to lead to burnout. It's going to lead to injuries, and it's just a bad idea. Now, maybe I'll be wrong about this, but it does not feel like a good idea for the New York Knicks. And I get benching Jericho Sims makes some sense of the way he's been playing, but still, maybe we don't bench Jericho Sims just because Precious Achiuwa is back. Maybe we play them together, which Thibodeau has favored doing in the past, or you just play someone else. Play Matt Ryan. Let him try to figure out if he can hit threes still. Let Matt Ryan try to do his thing. Play Pacome. He's looked promising, especially on the defensive end. He's got 4 steals in his first G League game, putting up good points. He's a confident shooter. Use what you have, Tibbs. Don't be too short with your rotation, or it's going to create problems, and I'm genuinely worried about what Tom Thibodeau is doing right now. But I do want to hear from you guys. LOL, the Pacers are 10-15. Dariel probably shouldn't have said they were going to be the 2 seed. That was a blatant miscount, but whatever, not the point. Guys, have a great day, and go Knicks. Tibbs, knock it off.